Component 1, Aim B, Market Research. This is your second lesson. Just a reminder, Mario introduces the new topic to you. Peach reads the text to you. Daisy's nice and helps you out. And Luigi sets the tasks for you. So the learning intentions, we need to go over what market research is again. We're going to look specifically at the reason for market research, and then we're going to break down primary and secondary and look at the types of data primary and secondary use, and then we're going to justify a decision of our own case study. Yoshi's new. Yoshi will give you the list of work that you need to do, so here's your checklist. And Donkey Kong is another new one. If you're super stuck and you've tried listening to Daisy, then Donkey Kong will talk through an example for you. And this lesson's list of work to do are, your number 1, you've got market research, 5 starter questions. Then you've got some key terms definitions for you to write. Then number 5 is looking at getting some images about market research methods, and then a little bit of writing on advantages and disadvantages, but be aware there are some already written sentences for you to use. Number 5 is exactly the same task, but this time about secondary research. Find icons to represent the methods, and then use the ready-made sentences for the advantages and disadvantages. For secondary research. And the last one is about you showing what you've understood from market research methods and putting them into practice for 3 case studies. So last lesson we looked into what is market research, we looked into qualitative and quantitative research, and we looked into primary and secondary research. Now don't worry, it's not new stuff coming now in lesson 2. It's actually breaking down what we've discussed in lesson 1 and actually putting the detail behind it. So if you think of last lesson as the covering of the cake, the wrapping of the present, now we're going to go into it and actually put the detail and actually make sure that it's really secure for you. What is market research and why is it crucial for success? Your learning journey that you're going to go through, we're going to go through in the introduction, where we're looking at defining and understanding the importance of market research. Then we're going to develop that knowledge and look at the different types of market research. And then we're going to deepen your knowledge and understand how to collect and analyse data collected through market research methods. First question then, why is market research important? It's all about a gap in the market. An unmet consumer need or a group of potential customers who are not yet purchasing a goods or services. That's a gap in the market. Gaps in the market represent opportunities for companies by creating targeted offers or advertising campaigns to reach the untapped market, the untapped customer segment where they can actually sell their products into. Your task. The definition of market research. The process of collecting, presenting and analysing information for a particular product or service. You've got 4 questions. Who do we collect information from? Who do we go and speak to when we're going to do our market research? Who is it that we want to answer? Number 2, why is it important that we actually go and ask these people? Number 3, why do businesses go and do market research? Why are they going out and asking about particular products, maybe a product we've never heard of? Why do they do it? Why are they finding out what we like and want? And number 4, what may be the consequences for a business when they don't do it? So if your answer to number 3 is, I don't know, they don't do it, well, you've got to answer number 4. If a business wants to be successful and they don't do market research, think about whether they can or can't, and then you need to explain what's going to happen to them in terms of their staff, their wages, their profit, their paying their rent, all these things to think of. Why is market research important? A business needs to know as much as it can about its potential customers in order to reduce the risk of producing or selling the wrong goods. Maybe this will help with the last slide. There are two methods of gaining information about potential customers we looked at in the last lesson: primary research and secondary research. Key terms research. Now what you need to do is go and look up what these words mean, but for each set of words, for each of the 6 phrases I've given you, then on the right hand side I've actually given you a link to go and look up what to do, where to go. So you need to find out the definitions, but there's no copy and pasting. You know the rules of copy and pasting. You need to write your definitions on the blue writing. You can type over it in your own words of what they mean. Tutor2U is a good website to keep using, especially when it comes to revision. So click on the links and you're going to have to dig around and find some of the answers. I've given you the links specific to the topics, but you're going to have to read around to get to the specific answer so you can make sure you understand for your own words. Primary field research. Field research uses information that the business or enterprise finds out for itself from consumers. This information is called primary data. Now here in the mind map in the middle, I've given you some methods. Your first task is to go and find some images which represent each method. Yep, it's just an image that you need to find right now. Advantages and disadvantages, the good and the bad points. Using the sentences from slide 16, yes, the writing's been done, so you need to go and you can copy and paste from this particular slide. Complete the table about the advantages, the good points, and the disadvantages, the bad points on primary research. Go to slide 16, select your sentence, copy it, and come back and paste it in the relevant column here. Secondary desk research. Desk research uses information that has already been found out by someone else. This information is called secondary data. Bit like slide 12, these are some of the methods of secondary research. So all you need to do right now is find an image or an icon that you think represents each of these methods. That's it, just an image. Advantages and disadvantages. Using the sentences on the next slide, slide 16, you're going to complete this table about the good points and the bad points on secondary research. So you go to the next slide, slide 16, and you look at which sentences are going to be relevant for the advantage column and which are going to be okay to copy and paste into the disadvantage column. The sentences have already been written out for you for the tables on slide 13 and 15. So these sentences can be copied and pasted back into the tables to help you work out the good and the bad points, the advantages and disadvantages of primary and secondary research. The information was collected for another purpose, so may not be suitable. The information is up to date. Information can be out of date by the time it is used. The information is specific to the business. The questions must be asked very carefully or the answers may not be valid. The information is collected on a larger scale than a small business could manage. You must collect information from lots of people, which can be expensive. The information may not be accurate or biased. Bias means potentially influenced by the person collecting it. A lot of time can be saved by not having to go out and collect information from individuals. Generally very time consuming, takes a lot of time to do. Results can be hard to analyse, for example if too many open questions are used. Your final task. Now we've been developing your knowledge of primary and secondary research and some qualitative and quantitative data, those definitions, the second task, the key terms you've done. We're going to use that information. So I've given you 3 scenarios: a new flavour for a homemade ice cream parlour that's in a tourist town. Perhaps there might be one in Ironbridge that I'm thinking of that we need to think about. The second one, opening a new nursery playgroup in a city centre. And the third one, an autism-friendly sensory toy for children. So you've got 3 very different types of products and services. So what you need to do is come up with one type of market research method. Now it's okay to do one. If you want to do more, that's up to you, but one's fine. So you write the name in that first empty column. Then going across, you tell me whether you can get qualitative or quantitative. Remember, qualitative is the open-ended question and quantitative is the closed question. So you want to write qualitative, quantitative. You might even want to write both, it's up to you. And the last column is justify your choice. So you've got one word in the first column, one or two words in the second column, and then a couple of sentences to write in the last column. So it's about you using the information we've done in this lesson and the last lesson and putting it into practice for these three company examples. That's it, you're done. You've completed lesson 2 on market research, where we've gone through the definitions and we're looking at deepening the knowledge that we first introduced on lesson 1. Your tasks were your 5 starter questions, your key terms for you to write in your own words, then your primary research method icons and your advantages and disadvantages, where you copy and paste the sentences. And then the same process for 5 and 6, but about secondary research, the secondary research icons and the advantages and disadvantages, but you copy and paste those sentences, the sentences from slide 16. And the final task, the market research on those 3 case studies examples where you complete the table. Well done, that's it. Lesson 2 is finished. We've gone through and looked at deepening your knowledge and developing your knowledge of market research, and we'll look at more of the methods and how we use them in the next lesson.